Good morning, it's Kim McGillis coming you live from Regina in Saskatchewan. It's presently, I think, 11:05 Central Time. And for my friends back home in Ontario, you're an hour ahead, which is like noon right now. I'm so happy to be back. It's been a couple of days since we've talked to each other. I'm starting with a new collection this morning. Just prepared a quick card for you. It's going to be fun. And yeah, I can't wait. So it is beautiful sunny right now in Regina. The sun just came out. We went to the dog park. I needed to bring my little puppy back to a routine because Daddy's been very, very busy with work with evening events as well as daytime. So she didn't have a lot of snuggle time. And I just said, you know what, Riley, Mommy's back. Came in at 1 a.m. So and my husband let me sleep in this morning, which was amazing. And then, yeah, we went to the dog park. We went to get her little pup cup. I'm just bringing her back to that routine. And I was planning on being live every single day in Ontario, but then I had so many appointments before I had to fly back here. And also my husband had given me a honey to-do list because we have guests staying in our home. And I had so many things to do that I decided to not go live every single day just to make everything happen. I love to go to my acupuncture appointments and little things like that. So Mommy got some me time. And then I'm going to say that I was like on taking a lot of big chances because yesterday, like I got at the airport 15 minutes before my flight was starting to board, which was crazy. So it was like kind of nuts, but thank goodness for my daughter who brought me in. And because I have a Nexus card, of course I could just get in there. Finally, like the other flight arrived a little bit later and everything was good. And then I was able to catch my flight and here I am today. So brief card today. It's something I haven't done in a very long time. I am going to be creating with the Sentimental Christmas collection that is on page, let me see, 28 and 29. So that's going to be fun. Hi, Diana. You're watching from New York. Do you have as much snow as we have here? Paul is saying it's so good to get some mommy time. Absolutely. You know what? I visited my parents. There was some priorities that I needed to set, even if I'm going back in Ontario very shortly. I just wanted to see my parents. I also saw 2 out of 3 of my daughters because one is doing exams right now. So we just FaceTime with my third daughter. But we hung out and then lots of appointments, little things like that. And I needed to do lots of stuff in the home. And by the way, for those who follow me regularly, I managed to switch that mattress. It was driving me nuts. I could not sleep in that bed with that hard mattress. And because they took it back in. So that was great. So I'm very happy about that. And a new mattress will be delivered early next week on Monday. So my daughter's going to be home and taking care of that for me. So that's amazing. So hopefully by the time we get back to Ontario, we get a better mattress. But because we had a cover and policies, they took it back. So I slept, 3-4 days in it and it was just totally chaotic. So, okay, so now I'm in the snow. It's minus 23 degrees here. My hair was frozen this morning. And yeah, I'm trying to get back to this groove of this routine here. So let's get started. I'm going to say it's going to be very exciting because I'm not sure if I'm going to go back live this weekend just to catch up because I missed a couple of days, or if I'm just going to throw it on next Monday. But I do want to play with the Sentimental Christmas. I love vintage. I'm all about lace. I'm all about like that sort of thing. So I do find that collection is very beautiful and it's a lot like me. Today's a simple card just because I'm just back in. But there's going to be a couple of fun folds, different fun folds. So you'll want to stay tuned and come back. So we're going to get started today with a skirt card. I don't know if you've ever done these. If you have, please mention it. I haven't done that, I think, since 2015. And I just found that the designer series paper was perfect for that. So I'm going to pull you down and I'm just going to show you what it's all about. I thought I was freaking out a little bit thinking that my dies were not the right dies, but it's such a tiny die that I found them and I was like, oh, so grateful for that. I also want to turn you around so I get to see all your comments. I haven't even logged on. It must be the chaotic flight. madness here. So let me just log on this side right here, and then we'll get started. So if ever you're watching the replay, please say hello. We're the 29th today. And I'll always draw, most likely at the beginning of next week. Somebody's going to win something. So it's either by you commenting or sharing my content as well. So let's see here. Stacey's saying she hasn't heard of that. Perfect. So here we are. And I brought my mount from Ontario. You should have seen my carry-on. It just contains stuff that was crafting related. It was so heavy, and by the second flight, it was exhausted, so it is even heavier. So what I was sharing is I'm going to be looking at the collection that's on page 28 and 29. It has beautiful designer series paper, and I had shared before that $4 is being is donated. Stampin' Up is doing a donation to an organization, so I find that that's a beautiful paper. I love the vintage look of it. I don't know if it's a collection that you have at home or not, but we are going to do that beautiful skirt card. So the colors are Poppy Parade, Old Olive, Shaded Spruce, Pretty Peacock, Pecan Pie, and Basic Beige. For today, I'm going to be using Poppy Parade and Shaded Spruce. So I did take both of these out. So we'll get to create with this. So I am going to be using a little bit of both. The designer series paper is adorable, and I do find that it has that vintage look. And because I used it for my other card for this side, then I knew that I had to continue using it, but like in these type of tones. So it's gorgeous. It's stunning. So I'm going to put these aside. This stamp set, like I was sharing, very vintage as well. And I was looking for my dies, and I always sort my dies next to my stamp set, but they are so tiny. This is the dies. Here they are. So they're very cute. And I love that the designer series paper fits perfectly on these dies, and that's what I'll be using for today. The font of this Sentimental Wishes is also very beautiful. So gonna set these two here, and then we're gonna grab, and I can't wait. After a couple of cards, I think you will fall in love with the collection if you haven't already. So after a couple of cards that we'll be building together, I think you'll love that. So I will catch back up on my messages. I am like totally behind, that's for sure. Just because of all the traveling. And even this morning, like I had stashed away my entire content in my crafting space, like everything was set and put away. So I was like, where's everything? Like my embossing cutting machine. So we're going to take a piece of basic white cardstock, and this one is going to be again at 4 1/4 by 11, you know, my favorite type of measurement. And we're going to fold at 5 1/2. Scoring the designer series paper this morning is going to be a little tricky, but I'm going to take my time and I'm going to watch you just to make sure that you are following the step and that it's not too confusing. So, and then today I might have to go get some food, little things, just to get my hubby a little better organized because he was so busy. Okay, so I'm just gonna set this. Like a little glare, but I just turned it off, so maybe we'll get a better view. So here we go. Yeah, that glare is gone. And I'm just going to push up slightly so we get to see ourselves a little better. So which designer series paper should I choose? I gotta say, I prefer the setup here in Regina. So I'm going to be using this designer series paper. And we're going to be cutting a piece that's 7 3/4 by 3. So the way that I want it is I want my ribbon to go down. So that's why I'm going to bring it at 3 inches this way. And I think you can make a bunch of cards with that, maybe like 4. And then on the opposite side, it's going to be 7 3/4. And now we're going to score a bunch of different times. So pay attention to this part. So it's going to be 3, and then 3.5, and then 5, and my last score is 6 1/8. So it's that little second line after the 6. So, by the way, happy Thanksgiving to my American friends. Are you doing anything special? I would love to hear. Is it like you're fall decorating and as soon as Thanksgiving is done that weekend, then you just remove the fall stuff and then you start putting up your Christmas stuff? I would love to hear about that. So here we have it. 3 inches, 3.5, 5, and 6 1/8. You're going to turn this slightly at the end of the 6 1/8 line, and you're going to go at 1.5. So 1.5, take a pencil and then just mark that. If your eyes are sensitive and you can't see that score line, where the 3-inch mark, you could also do like this tiny little line. Okay, so at 1.5 on this side and at the 3-inch score mark. Then I'm gonna bring my 1.5 mark to my 3-inch mark, and I'm gonna be doing a cut. So I just want to make sure that's okay. Yep, that's my 3, that's my 4, and I'm just cutting this way. Stacy said she had a great Thanksgiving with family. Don't decorate for Christmas until next weekend, and that would make total sense. Absolutely. See, in Canada, our Thanksgiving is in October, so that's why we can do so. So now I'm just going to remove that little mark and that little mark down there, and that's a bit to be more like of a precise. We might need to cut the edge a little bit, but we'll see. So now I'm folding that 6 1/8 on the inside like this, and then I'm gonna flip out on the opposite side, that 5-inch mark. So now you see you have that pleat right there. And then this is the first 3-inch mark. So there you have it. And when you have beautiful designer series paper, I just find that it's nice to see both sides. When I had my class last week in Ontario, there was the debate about how it is so difficult to know which side of designer series paper to use. And it is actually, it is pretty difficult, but when you do the pleated skirt, it's kind of nice to see both. Now I'm just gonna warn you, I just saw my husband go by, and he's walking around and probably doesn't realize that it's my 11 o'clock live, so he might give me a little shout out once he walks into the home. That's what lies are all about. So now this paper would be going right here on the inside, just like this. Does this make sense? Yes. So, like I said, there might be a little bit of a trimming that you might need to do right here. He's actually being silent, so he just walked in and it's good. So it's just my dog might be a little excited. So if you do have that extra little piece, what I suggest is you just turn it around and then just snip it like that. I don't want you to glue it right away just because we're gonna add that coordinating ribbon. So here we have this piece right here. And if you wanna add some adhesive, you can. If you wanna add dimensionals, it's up to you. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of adhesive. Gonna glue this here. Gonna do the same thing for the second one right here. and then maybe on the inside. So if you have a stash of designer series paper, this card is perfect for you. I know one of my customers, like yesterday, she came to get a bunch of designer series paper that I have as my retired stuff, and she'll love this card. Paul said that it's Black Friday, crazy sales at all stores, getting the Christmas tree out of the storage. That's amazing. So now, like I said, I didn't want to glue this part. What we're going to do is I'm going to be adding this ribbon. And you see that the middle part of the ribbon is a lot thicker. So I'm going to ensure that that line matches with the top of the paper. So some of it is going to be popping on the opposite side. And this ribbon is the shaded spruce that goes with the collection. So I just wanted to continue exactly with that same collection. So I will be adding it right here. And I don't want to glue it, right? Because I don't want it on the inside portion of my card. So I'm gonna be using a little bit of sticky tape, not everywhere, because I do want it to look like it's loose and not stuck. You know, if it was a sticky tape all along, then you'll see it like a straight line, but that's not the look that I'm going for. I do want it flowy because it's such a beautiful ribbon. I'm just gonna grab my pick tool, my savior, and help me get this off right here because I am crafting from a little distance here. By the way, does everybody have this tool? Like it's so good. You could change the ends and there's so many things that you could do. So leave a little bit of ribbon on both sides, and the reason why is because you'll want to tuck it in at the back. So here I am. So I'm going to show you closer. So when we look at this, that top portion is really aligned with my designer series paper, and then we have this beautiful top that's going to be going on the white side. So now I'm just going to cut it a little longer right here. And then we're just gonna tuck it on the inside like this and like that. See, it could be cute on this side too. Oh, love the ribbon. I love the combination of the shaded spruce and the pretty peacock as well. So you could choose either side. And then I'm just gonna bring it right here. There you go. And if I want, I could just pull these off and then it's going to be extra adhesive for my opposite side. So let's do so. Now, some of my favorite dies are shapes. I love to add little shapes, and I thought that today might be a good idea to take some of those dies. You could do circles, squares, whatever you would want for that next step that's coming up. My goodness, it's like I have too many fingers this morning. So I'm just gonna add, I'm not doing dimensionals because there's already a lot of layers here. So I'm just gonna go and add it right here. So here we have our pleated skirt portion, the bottom portion. So now I'm gonna be taking out these style shapes dies, and I'm gonna be using the second one. So I've already pulled it out. So love these dies. We're gonna use our blending brush. We're gonna add a little bit of color in the background. So this is the second one. If you want to go with square, you could do square, but these are part of essentials. Can't believe my little puppy didn't even say anything when she saw her father. Okay, so we're gonna take this part out, and this is now the time that I'm gonna be doing all my die cutting as well. So grab some basic whites again, and then we're gonna do our circle. So this one's gonna go here. I am gonna take out some other dies as well from our Sentimental Wishes. So we're going to take this one for the white portion. And then I'm going to look at other patterns. So let's take out all our designer series paper once again. And I'm going to go with the stocking. So look how pretty this is. And I almost feel like I don't want to cut these beautiful vines because I could add them for the inside if I decide to fussy cut, which you'll probably see me do. And then I'm just coming to get this image right here. I'm also going to be using this cute bow. So don't feel like thinking too much today. So I thought that by using these, it will be very simple. So see how the bow fits perfectly on the designer series paper. One of my favorite things when Stampin' Up! Decides to do that, like you almost need the entire collection. And then the same thing for the stocking. Here we go. So now I think I'm pretty ready to die cut the rest. Everything is there. We're going to take that perfect plate. I know that when I should add some washi tape when I start cutting like lots of images at the same time. They could move, but I'm taking a chance. The bow I think might move a little bit. If not, take washi tape and then you could just do it like that. So I have this part in white. We have our circle here. And then I have my little bow. And we have our stocking, which is simply adorable. It adds texture around it. I just love that. I am going to cut a second piece of the foliage just in case that I want to add a second one. So I'm just going to tuck this back in here. Now you might see a little bit of variety once I do a second one, just because sometimes I like to change things up. So here we go. So we got this one, and this one. And then I'm just gonna pop this little piece right out. There you go. So I'm gonna take out my shaded spruce. I'm gonna flip it around. And now I'm just going to take one of my blending brushes. I'm going to try it on a piece of spare cardstock because I want to remove most of it. And then I'm just going to add just softly a little bit of color right in here. This portion is just gonna go on the inside right here. So I feel like it's still not, I don't want it too dark, but I don't want it too light. So I'm gonna add some more right here. And I love those little dots around, the simple details sometimes. This is gonna come right here. So I know the American friends are celebrating with family. What are my Canadian friends doing this weekend? Now, you know, and I'll probably have green fingers today. I'm going to take my shaded spruce, the light. I just like to add elements. And actually, I'm going to do it on this side because I do want some little specks to fall here. Perfect. And you might not see it here, but if I bring it closer, I just wanted to ensure that there's some little specks a little bit everywhere. And now if I remove this portion here, now, could you emboss one of the images? Absolutely. There's so many things that you could do. But I'm just gonna add it right here. Now this time I am gonna be popping and adding some dimensionals just to make it stand out a little bit more. So we're gonna tuck this on the back side. just gonna slide it, and I'm putting it on the side where that 3-inch, like the longer part is. Also gonna be adding some dimensional for my beautiful stocking. And then this is gonna go right here. Here you have it. And then what am I gonna do with these? So there's 2 ways of doing this. You can add some color with your blending brush, which we might try just to show you what it would look like. I did try it with the shaded spruce, but I'm gonna say it was a little too dark. So if you like the dark part, you can add them. If I look at here, but if you want lighter, you could do lighter as well. So I could add some color just by going like this. Or if I want to use my ink, I just use our water painters, and I just added some ink, and then you can add color and some spots a little darker here and there, and then let it dry. So you have both options here. And what I did is I watered it down in the lid, but you could do either or. Or if you prefer, then you could just keep them very greenish. So it's up to you, but you have a bunch of different options. So what I do is I normally add water in my lid, and then I'll just go and add some color. And then the more water you have, I find the better it is. The only thing is you'll have to let it dry properly. Okay. You could also add just little drops here and there on the other one and keep it very soft. So a couple of options for you right there. I'm going to take out our dimensionals as well. And then I'm going to look in the camera and see which one I prefer that would stand out a little bit more. Are we going to go with some foliage like this or the green one? Which one do you think? Should I go with the dark green? Should I go with the lighter one? I'll also pull out some that I've already dried up. So this one was done with the water. Not sure which one you prefer. And you could also mix them. So if I add one of these right here, Stacy's saying dark. Okay, so we are going with dark today. You win. So let's do dark. So I think I'm gonna add 2. Let's do the 2. I'm gonna pop up my dimensionals. So what I'm doing, not dimensionals, my mini glue dots. So I'm gonna be adding, and we didn't do our greeting yet, so we still have a greeting to do, but even the bow, once you start doing the bow and adding it to the top, it's just stunning. Okay, so I'm gonna tuck this one right on the inside here. And then I'm gonna add a second one. If you wanna add bling too, you could add some bling. So this one might be going right here. And then we have our bow that again, I'm just gonna pop up. You could use mini dark, and then we're just mini dimensionals, and we're gonna pop that. So now it's starting to stand out. And if you feel like the green is too much, I'll show you an alternative as well. If you don't want the look of that circle in dark green, then we have the option of just keeping it white. So I'm going to show you that. Stacy's saying that it's gorgeous, but she loves the option. Yeah, sometimes it's technique, right? You just want to try different technique to know which one you might prefer. So I'm going to do the one with the white and no look. And then I'm gonna do also the softer side because we already pre-cut those, so why not do 2 cards at once, right? So then this is the softer, lighter version right here, so you get to see both. And then you could decide if you prefer lighter or darker. And then we're gonna bring some foliage right here. This one's gonna be a little darker, and I love that it pops off. And you know that I love to modify my greetings, so you'll see a modified look. Ooh, love that, it's so cute. So let's take out our stamp set one more time. And I'm gonna go with have a very Merry Christmas. And I'm gonna be stamping it in, I'm gonna use Poppy Parade. I can feel a sneeze coming on. Whew. Okay. Once again, I'm just going to use some white cardstock. And then there's going to be some trimming involved here because you know I like to modify my greetings. Just going to snip off this part right here. And this part right here. Perfect. So it went from have a very Merry Christmas to just a very Merry Christmas. And then I like to play with them. So this is gonna go right here somewhere. I might modify it slightly. I like it slim. Let's cut this part out. And then we're gonna add this right here. Love that. I'm gonna use another dimensional. Just add it here. Now let's take our second one. I've already pre-stamped this one. And then we're just gonna add it here. Oh, I just love this portion. It also comes with ornaments. They're druzy. These are back. Another word that's hard for me to say since I speak French, but they're so pretty. So you can add a couple of them here and there, up to you. There's some different sizes, but these would pop up great. Even in designer series paper, so you get to see them right here. So do you prefer with the shaded spruce background, or do you prefer it with the white background? I would love to know. Like if you bring it sideways, it has so much texture. And now, because the designer series paper is stunning, we have to do one of those envelopes. So all of the papers are stunning. I think I'm gonna go with this one. And we're just gonna add some adhesive on this side. So now you know that there are so many things you could do with your leftover designer series paper. That pleated skirt design is, I haven't done that in ages. It's so cute. And then we're just gonna cut the outside right here. want a full vintage card today. So then there we have it. So Karen is saying that she's liking the shaded spruce background. Well, I love it that you love that one. That's awesome. Not too sure. You'll see. Once I start taking my photos, that's when I decide which one I prefer. I just want to do a second envelope with the opposite side. I want to utilize this designer series paper as much as I can. So I'm just going to bring it right here. To do a painful Costco run on a Friday. I hope it's going to be okay. You don't want to do Costco on weekends in Canada, that's for sure. Just going to set this aside, and now, I don't know, something about this paper. I think I even have a dress in these colors, so you can add your envelopes and the colors that you want with the leftover designer series paper. Love both. Both options are great. You might see a little modified version, but the goal was to show you the pleated skirt today. So he says, Paul is asking me a question, not gluing the designer series on the edge of the envelope. Do you worry that it's going through the mail? You know what? Right now I'm just taking my time. Could I add more glue? Absolutely. But it's never happened. Like if I want, I could just add more glue on the edge for sure. And I actually like to stamp also a little image, but I don't know, our mailing system, very expensive in Canada, but not very finicky. Like there's so much space for it to slide into the envelope, but for sure you might want to put more adhesive if you're worried about that, that's for sure. Anyways, I do love it. And you'll see, like I like to build my collection with the designer series paper. Once you see all the other fun fold cards, you will fall in love with this collection. I promise you, you will love it. So I can't wait to share more. Thank you so much for watching me this morning. I am a little jet lagged since I flew all day pretty much yesterday and barely slept. But you know what? Next week is gonna be a fabulous week. Might see me this weekend popping in. If I do pop in, I will give you a notice. We'll see what the Hubs has planned for Riley and I. But I want you to give that pleated skirt a try and also share with me. I love seeing your designs. I love seeing what you're creating, what you're casing. When I do show a couple of projects, I did not come up with the pleated skirt. It's been there for years. I just thought that it would be great to bring it back. Vintage technique with vintage designer series paper. Enjoy your day. See you soon. Bye-bye.